I have a confession to make. I spent quite a bit of time in the past week in a state of intellectual turmoil, pondering what on earth I was going to talk to you about here tonight. You see, I love speaking. I love connecting with an audience, telling a story, being heard. I didn't just want to talk about something interesting within my degree, but about something with a broader appeal. I started thinking about my year in YLL, the conversations that I've had with people here and elsewhere, looking for a subject that I thought would resonate with the right group of people. Many of us came to the Young Leaders League, at least in part, out of a desire to get to know ourselves better. What am I good at? What's my role in a team? How do others view me, and how does that differ from how I view myself? Now, I was one of those people, actually. Flicking back through my YLL journal, I came to see that among my learning goals, I jotted down, become better at me, by which I meant understanding my strengths and my interests while learning to navigate my weaknesses. I figured that was something I could share my thoughts about here tonight. Continuity, change, and progress on the personal level. So brace yourself, folks, because I have a few things I want to get off my chest. In particular, I want to discuss the concept of passion. The most commonly held view of passion that I come across seems to be that your passion is a kind of destiny. It's a thing at which you have a combination of great interest and great talent. At times, some passion-pushing people hold up finding your passion as the holy grail of all self-actualization. I don't like this approach to passion, frankly, and I think it is a serious red herring in our search for identity. From self-help books to TED Talks to job ads, the term passion seems to be everywhere. I have the strong impression the word is rapidly turning into a cliché. An ad for a job as a telemarketer might ask for someone with a passion for sales. And businesses proudly proclaim a passion for providing the best customer service at affordable prices. And of course, no motivation letter is complete without a reference to your passion for the field or business in question. The very triumph and consequent ubiquity of the term have, paradoxically, watered down its meaning. I wonder, do you guys remember the junior masterclasses YLL offered a couple of months ago? We had young people, just a few years ahead of us in life, come in and tell us about what awesome, or perhaps not so awesome projects were going on in their lives, what was going right for them, what was going wrong for them, and what could we learn from that. Who here went to see Luce from Soon, who talked about finding your why of the YLL people? One? Just one? Just the one? Beautiful. I only joined her class in the first round, and I thought that was all right, actually. But I've been told that in the second round, she did a round of introductions, straight up asking people to say their name, their degree, and their passion, just like that. And in truth, I'm quite happy I wasn't in that class, in that round, frankly, because I would not have had an answer to the passion question. I'd have gone, Peter, international relations, and, well, not applicable, I guess. My lack of an answer to that question does not reflect a lack of self-knowledge, or so I hope at least. Instead, I think the question itself reflects a lack of common understanding about what exactly we want the term passion to mean. When you ask me that question, I want to ask back, what do you really want to know? Do you want to know about some activity that I hugely enjoy doing? Or I have some activity that I would gladly spend my every waking second engaged in? Well, as it happens, I actually have more than one of those activities. Writing, for instance, public speaking, playing the guitar. So if asked, which one of those should I say, and how much would that really tell you about me as a person? Another common answer to the passion question is a topic or subject that you find particularly interesting or engaging. Perhaps the workings of the cosmos, or if you're interested in international relations, the nature of power, perhaps. Again, I have quite a few of those, and I'm sure most of you have many of those deep questions as well. Have you noticed how full the world, or the universe, is of fascinating things? And I'm supposed to pick just one. Fair enough, maybe I am being a little snotty here. Maybe this is just the sentiment of an old student of liberal arts and sciences speaking, unwilling to be pinned down on any particular subject or pursuit. Certainly, I don't mean to say anything to the detriment of someone who does identify very strongly with one activity or subject. But placed in the broader context of becoming better at ourselves, I do think we're onto a potential danger here. For anyone on a quest for identity, I think there is a serious risk of what I would call self-essentialization. Often, people seek a few easily recognizable markers that they hope encapsulate the essence of who they are. Name, degree, passion. Ideally, these allow us to explain ourselves, something as complex as our identity, not just to ourselves, but to the outside world as well, and ideally in 5 words or less. Incidentally, by the way, there are tests and systems everywhere that facilitate such self-essentializing. I find them very amusing. I might tell you, for instance, that I, Peter Snijders, am an Aries, that I score as an ENFJ on the Myers-Briggs type indicator, that I'm a yellow print and red print thinker when it comes to change, and that I score as an idealist on the Kersey temperament sorter. Now don't get me wrong, in principle such markers can be very useful, especially as starting points for reflection. But all too often, people end up over-identifying with them, in a hurry to pin down who they are and end that in uncertainty. The result is not identity, but something far less valuable, a kind of imitation identity. Now, I fear that passion is in danger of going this way as well, with its connotations of depth, of being at the core of your personal drive. Passion can seem like the ideal self-essentializing marker of who you are. It's the perfect shortcut to avoid the rather hard work of actually finding yourself. Now, of course, it is possible to use the concept of passion in a way that actually seeks a more profound insight into someone. What if I truly want to know what your why is? If I want to know what drives you, if I want to know what gets you out of bed in the morning, or perhaps what you ponder on nights that you can't sleep, staring up into the darkness of your room with a hand tucked under your pillow. That comes closer to how I would view passion. But these things are very personal. You don't just ask them that in a round of introductions. They're a bit unwieldy as well. I can't just sum up such profound things about myself when put on the spot and state your name, degree, and passion in a seminar room full of people. I guess what I would want to call for, ultimately, is for all of us not to give up the hard grind of personal reflection and soul-searching. Identity is not simple. It is not easily pinned down, and it is not fixed or immutable. We all change all throughout our lives. That's perfectly normal. In fact, my experience has often been that just when you think you have yourself figured out, everything you thought you knew about yourself comes crashing down. For me, identity recently has been more of an ever-changing personal maelstrom than something fixed and unchangeable. So in trying to become better at ourselves, let's make sure that we go beyond the temptations of self-essentialization. And if we speak of passion, let's do it consciously. Let's try to define it at the start of every discussion we have about it. Perhaps we can yet save it from clichédom. In the meantime, I would like to thank you very much for listening. It's been a pleasure to speak to you here tonight.